Welcome to Mornings with Marvel, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Good morning to each and every one of you. It is Friday, September 19th. The month is rolling right on by. It's been a month to say the least, so I just want to make you aware of two things. We had Kelvin Jeremiah, who was supposed to be on this morning. We have to pivot from that. He will not be on today, so we will have him on next week. Council member Dr. Anthony Phillips will be on, however, to discuss with us what happened at the night market plus what happened in City Council yesterday. So we were able to pivot there. And then at 7:15, if you are not aware, there was a conversation. There were a series of conversations by the district attorney's office. One happened on Tuesday. One happened on Wednesday at Grace Baptist Church, where I was the moderator. We had zero issues, but I set the tone when we walked into the room, and I said, this is how it's going to be. There will be no disruptions. We're going to do what we're supposed to do, and people behave themselves, right? Well, then yesterday, the third session was at Mother Bethel AME, and of course, all hell broke loose out in the front of the church. Folks came and started saying they wanted to get into the church. Self-described white nationalists were at the church. Asa Khalif was out there with his folks. And so this morning at 7:15, Asa will be calling in to our show to talk about what exactly transpired out there. And so I'm excited that we have the opportunity, and I'm really grateful for the relationships that we've created here and Mornings with Marva, and really over the years. And to the people that stopped me at the night market yesterday, and there were loads of you who have been listening to this show but never commented, never called in, thank you so I had no idea. And so it was nice to get the feedback that what we're talking about really is helpful to so many of you. And please, if you ever feel so inclined, you can write and talk to us about, what you feel in the moment, or you can pick up the phone and call 215-400-0146. Dr. Phillips, sir.
Good morning. I'm trying to. I'll try to find my external camera, but I guess I'm gonna have to make this work. That's okay. I'm here.
There you go.
Good morning.
You found it.
Good to see you.
Good. Listen, I don't even know how you're awake this time of morning, but we'll take it.
I'm telling you, I'm excited to be here, and we're gonna work.
Yes, we're going to work. Now, Dr. Anthony, and I'm going to keep calling you doctor because Lord knows you earned it. Dr.
Right.
Anthony Phillips is the councilmatic district council member for the 9th district, which is East Oak Lane. Are you parts of West Oak Lane too?
West Oak Lane, East Oak Lane,
Earl Home, Alney.
Burn Rock, Alney, so forth.
Yes. Okay. So, you've committed to having a conversation. Who talking to you? Because I can see your eyeballs going to the left.
Yeah, listen. I
hear him. I got it. Leave him alone. Babies are going to be who babies are. Make sure he's okay. He can come and say hello. I don't care. I don't play about babies and my seasoned citizens. They get to disrupt and interrupt. I love them.
Oh my God! But I'm listening. No, I'm here. Okay. I'm here.
He's fine. How old is
he? Thank you. 5.
Well, that's what you get.
5 and a whole bunch of joy.
Yes, and that's fine. Let him come in and talk. Tell him mother's fine.
It didn't tell you. Let me tell you. I'm beyond excited about last night. I can't.
So let's discuss.
Yeah.
So when you and I first started talking to each other, one of the things you talked about was that you really wanted to bring back some sort of version of the West Oak Lane Jazz Festival.
Yes.
I was never so proud. I don't know what everybody else was feeling and thinking. I sat there and I said, yes, Jesus, you did it. You did it with Kimberly A. Lloyd. The people, listen to me. The people had such a good time. I had VIP, but I kept leaving the VIP section and going hanging out with the folk and talking to them and finding out how they were feeling. It was amazing. amazing. Thank you so much on
Wow.
behalf of the citizens of this city. Thank you so much on behalf of Uptown West, Northwest section, West Oak Lane. Folks were sitting on their lawns with barbecue. And we needed it.
Right. Weren't they? I think about
Listen,
it.
my folks came out on their lawns and they set up their grills and they had their chairs on their lawns and they were like, listen, y'all gonna be in the street. We're gonna be in our. So Mr. Man Frisbee came and he said, I know somebody up there. I'm gonna go up there and get me a burger. But people came from all over the city.
All
All
over.
over the city.
All over the city. And that's what it was. It felt like you said earlier, you were running into different people that you knew. It felt like a homecoming. I honestly, it felt like the early 2000s, 1990s,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know, us, just neighborhoods before phones. And I was just so thrilled to see the amount of people that were there that last night. I mean, I did not
Me
know
too.
if the
Me
word
too.
has spread. I didn't know how many people really knew about it. But it was, I guess, an appetite for it,
It is.
and in these trying times, people really are looking for something, I guess, to just relax and enjoy themselves and just, feel like, we're at a, we're back at, where we were,
Yeah.
it's where people are actually like each other and they're working together.
Yes,
And
and we
so,
didn't think
yeah,
about the trauma that was consistently happening around us in the country. Because while we were
yes.
at the night market, there was a white nationalist down at Mother Bethel AME about
Um,
the conversation with. Yes, there was so much going on,
it
right?
it just it doesn't stop, does it?
No, it does not. It does not. And so we are now. Somebody say y'all are both running on fumes. Fumes. Listen.
Phew. I was listen. I didn't go to bed. I probably didn't go to bed until around midnight, 1 o'clock, right? Because I think I was just on the phone talking to people about like how excited they were, right, that we did this. I mean, and here's what it takes. Honestly, it's really like people setting aside their like the like that this is about community. You can't
Yes, there
just
was no
you
ego. It
yeah,
was beautiful. You did it. You and
yeah.
Kimberly did it. Folks were just, even though we had, access to certain access points. So I got in the VIP section and refused to move up to the front. Everybody just
She sure
I
did.
sat in the back. I was like,
We
because I got to
tried
talk to the
too.
people. I had myself a good old time.
She wanted to be in the lawn chairs with everybody.
I did because I love my people. I
Oh
didn't
my
like the
God.
feeling of being separated. So I think I saw my husband all of
Yes.
15 minutes. I went and got him one of those brisket, whoever the truck was, but with the briskets,
Yeah.
delicious.
Oh my gosh. What was it called? I didn't even get a chance to, I was too busy talking to everybody. I
Yes.
didn't get a chance to stop and just eat, so that was kind of frustrating for me.
Mr.
But
Sanders ate. I went and got him a sandwich and he sat there and
yeah.
had himself a good old time. But the vendors were wonderful. It was like two separate things happening. So there was the main stage, and when you walked up behind the main stage, like to the other side, there were all the food trucks. People were out there talking to one another, enjoying themselves. The Philadelphia Police Department managed themselves in the most beautiful way. I saw
Yes.
a man tackling them, just talking about, I'm going to do this to you, I'm going to do that. Black man cussing them out. And I looked at that officer and I said, I don't even know how you comported yourself. Because 5 minutes after that, I've been like, what are we doing? So they
Yep.
didn't, they were just like, move along, move along. They were so patient. I was like, thank you, God. So nothing
Yep.
happened. The police officers on the horses, one man came to get the other black man and he said, I know you. What are you doing? Stop doing this. So the neighborhood was working together. He's like, come with
Yes.
me, bruh. Right? So nothing happened. Pastor Waller sang his whole face off. It was good. It was
It was
really, really
good.
good. And so from us to you, thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you. And you know what I also liked? We had some really solid performances too, which was made it
Yes.
even more. And now it's like people are trying to figure out what performances that we're gonna have next year.
Yeah.
And and then also the other part that I really enjoyed was we incorporated gospel, right? With Pastor Wilder just, I mean, he found a way to make it energetic. He was the headliner, you know.
Listen, can you stand it? Can you stand it?
You stand it, and then people were just happy with just sitting outside in nice
Oh,
weather, just chilling.
just
I was like, people
chilling.
just were happy just being next to each other, and it was just so peaceful, you
It
know.
was. And
It's
we
like
needed
we
it.
haven't been
We were
sitting out, we
craving
haven't
it.
sat on our porches in a long time and just hung out. Next
That
time,
part.
I'll tell people to bring their own lemonades and stuff. You know, bring their own food and just hang out. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was great. It was great.
Yeah, it
People
was
were
good.
stopping us, and we were just people I had never met in my
Yeah.
life was just stopping. Girl, take them pants off and give it to me. You know how many times people try to take off my pants? I said, I will not go home naked. Not today.
Exactly. and, and, and
But
you,
it was
it
really,
was great.
really
It was
good.
good. And what I will also say, it is partnership because we had Orc has been wanting to do this for a long time, and they were the ones who helped organize it. But they didn't necessarily have the resources, right? And so we wanted it too because we heard it from the community, and so we're just like, why
Mhm.
don't we just find a way to get you the resources so that you can do this event? So we basically came out with all the money from the city through budget negotiations, and then found a way to partner with Pastor Waller White and
Mhm.
Enon, and so they came through with a couple more dollars, but it was just literally ourselves and Orc, and then whatever Enon was able to do was helpful, And
But
I
you did
said,
it. That's the bottom
that's
line.
it. We did it.
You did
Yeah,
it.
exactly. But people make things so complicated, right? I mean, this is a 15-year thing that was people been like, when y'all doing this? When y'all doing this? I'm like,
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
just honestly, to be honest with you,
Mhm.
a lot of times the reason why this wasn't going on is because people just couldn't get along. I can't. I just hate to tell you, that's the real truth.
Because it
It's like
is what it is.
people
Because
just
it is
couldn't
what it
get
is.
along, and
Yeah. I saw Kimberly and I said, thank God you did. She said, Andrea, as long as you can work with all the different personalities, I said, that's my issue. That's my
yes,
issue and my issue. I can't with the big eyes and the big T's and the little
yeah,
eyes. And the people were just sitting out there. I hope you were able, in the middle of working through this event last night, to just capture what you saw.
yes,
To just
yes.
capture what you saw. Perfect strangers. Like Monica says, I felt so safe. My daughter and I got food, drink, and sat on the curb to eat and enjoy. I was handing out me and Mister's chair. You need a chair? Everybody was like, no, we brought our chair. And I believe next year it's going to be bigger because the sister that lives up the street, she said she was coming out of her house with her chair. She said, it's been 10 years. We need this. We
Hmm.
want this.
Yes, yes, and I think it's going to be bigger and better. And now that there's
Yes.
an appetite, we actually may be able to do the full jazz festival. And so
That's
people
what the
talk about it,
sister
this shop at
said.
18 Drive. I'm saying, and now it's gonna be more people wanting to vend next year. Now that they
Yes.
saw that like
Yes.
how this works, and so
Yes.
yeah, we'll be all right.
I'm
Well,
I-
let me.
I'm just
You're
go ahead.
thrilled. You're thrilled. I'm thrilled too. I woke up this morning like, wow, like we really did
You
that.
did it.
We
Because I
like
remember when
we
it was
really,
a
we
seed
really did
germinating.
that.
I remember when it was that seed germinating. Good morning, Bobby
It,
Carr. And I was like, you can do this. Just keep pressing forward. And where two or three are gathered together between you, Kimberly A. Lloyd, and Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. Oh, it was a time. It was a time. And when Diamond Cuts came on and they started playing the butt, I got in front of Mister and started
oh,
wiggling. I
and
know
Wallet
somebody was
came
going.
out. We're like,
Poor Mister couldn't
man,
see. My little butt was just a wiggling in front of him.
man, so
It was so much fun. It
well,
was so much
it,
fun.
no, you know what? I'm just. You're right. We talked about this a while back, and
Mhm,
to see it finally happen is just like, wow.
mhm. You know
Wow.
what I'd like
Like
to do next?
you're right.
You know what
It's
I'd like
like
to
we
do?
talked about it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do
Yeah.
it. And
You know what I'd like to do next year? Find us
yeah,
a sponsor so I can do a live broadcast. Because that would have been
I like
great to do
that.
the live
I
broadcast
like
right
that.
in between the main stage and where the people were. Because everybody wanted to talk. Everybody
Yes.
wanted to talk.
We could literally have you talking to people throughout the whole night.
Hmm.
And to be honest with
Hmm.
you, we were nervous. People we would think about having it about 10 o'clock or so. I was like, the crowd. But I'm like, people stayed
But
around.
people were behaving themselves. People were having a good time. Do you know, everybody I talked to said, I have been so stressed. I've been so stressed about everything. This is what we needed. When DJ Diamond Cuts came on the stage and to I said, oh, my husband looked at me and said, oh, here we go.
Oh my God.
We had a time. If you missed it, y'all, I don't know what to tell you. We had
Right.
a time.
We had a time.
And so on behalf of the
it
citizens
was
of
quite
this
the time.
city,
It was quite the
yes,
time.
on behalf of the citizens of this city, to you, Kimberly A. Lloyd, and whoever else sponsored this, thank you. It was a great 4 or 5 hour respite from the BS that we listen to every single day. Take your flowers, sir. Take your flowers.
Thank you. Woo, made our day. Made my day.
Listen,
Made
Monica
my day.
said,
And I can't wait to tell it to you. What Monica say?
She said, we had our chairs, but put them away. We were walking. I'm telling you, it was a vibe. It really was.
Y'all
it
all
really
showed
was.
up.
They had Jacob's restaurant open for certain folk. Nobody was in there. It was empty.
It was because everybody wanted to be outside.
Listen.
Everybody looked like everyone wanted just wanted. It was like you were seeing people you didn't see in so long. You know, it was great.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I'll briefly just tell you some of the stuff. Monica says it released some serious stress. I love it.
I'm telling you.
I'll briefly just tell you some stuff that we did at Philadelphia City Council. Yes. So what I'll say is that Donald Trump is doing a lot around, that's impacting the city of Philadelphia. Okay. And, the unfortunate part is that the impact he has on a federal level, there's only so much we can do from a local level. And so, President Johnson, essentially, as well as Kendra Brooks, created this resolution in opposition to some of the SNAP cuts that Donald Trump has done, calling on the federal government to reverse those SNAP cuts. Also, reproductive care that was, that they're cutting funds from.
Can I say I'm proud of City Council? Thank you, President Johnson and Kendra Brooks. It is not easy to speak up in the face of what's going on because the fear will hold you back. But when you see the people of this city, I moderated the second of 3 discussions with the district attorney's office. The one I moderated, everybody behaved themselves, right? Yeah. All right. So we were in there and people were, what do we do? Haitians are being picked up. What rights do we have? Now he's saying Jamaica and Haiti are 2 of the most dangerous. You see the rhetoric that he's using, right? And so there were retired lawyers in the room who said, we are taking on immigration cuts, the folks that need immigration help. There was a pastor in the room that says there are 23 hubs about working with your neighbors, getting the neighbors, because I kept saying, you cannot do this without working with each other as neighbors, which is why the event last night made all the difference in the world, because now folks will be like, all right, that's my neighbor so-and-so. We got to make sure neighbor so-and-so is okay. We have to pull our resources together, Dr. Phillips. It's important. So to see leadership stand up and say, this is an issue for our people, makes all the difference in the world. We need it. Am I making sense?
That's why, and so that's why we can't just not say anything. We're at a point now where I think that we may have to get ourselves in a movement type of situation.
Yeah.
Because this, even with the Charlie Kirk situation, we recognize that they now have this white savior that they have created. They have created basically someone as an idol.
Right, and you understand that October 14th will be Charlie Kirk Day, which is the birthday of George Floyd. That it was a unanimous thing with the Democrats and the Republicans. The Democrats said they felt like they had to do something. They had to work with the Republicans, otherwise it would have been the fear. And so now Democrats, people are cussing the Democrats. Why would you? What? I think only Jasmine Crockett was like, hell to the no. So You know, this is the place when we said months and months ago, in this situation, you cannot be silent.
Yeah.
Silence will not help you because everybody is feeling the ramifications of this. When the white nationalists showed up at Bethel AME yesterday, all the activists, Asa Khalif being in the middle of it, they jumped up and was like, "Knock if you buck." Philadelphia is a really interesting place. Really
Yes,
interesting
yes.
place. So it's kind of
Very,
hard to
very,
come up in here
very,
and say and
very,
do.
very, very
Mm-hmm,
interesting.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Beyond interesting. And
Yeah.
so, my gosh, I mean, and so we did that, and then also we're going to be having a hearing about the SNAP cuts
Mm-hmm,
to see what we can do in the city of Philadelphia to
mm-hmm,
help, with individuals who, are losing that nutritional support, despite the fact that they're having those SNAP cuts. We also honored Jane Golden. She's the founder and leader of the Mirror Arts Philadelphia program.
mm-hmm,
As you know, Mirror Arts has done hundreds of murals throughout the city of Philadelphia.
mm-hmm,
And she's retiring. She's the one who's responsible for all the great murals
mm-hmm,
that we see in our city.
mm-hmm.
And so there's going to be a new leader, and we just wanted to recognize her for her, over 3 decades worth of
Of
service to the
work,
city.
yeah.
Councilwoman Jamie Gaudier did something called the Stop Trashing Our Air Act bill she introduced. That's going to prevent the city from contracting with companies that incinerate solid waste or recyclables and solid waste or recyclables in other areas like Chester and so forth. So if they, like, for example, the city has done this thing where they, sometimes there's contractors that don't care about where they're dumping their trash and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And so the goal is to end environmental racism, because oftentimes the trash that is dumped is in areas that are majority Black. And as a result, if you're a company if the city is helping companies that, oftentimes they may not know that they're sending their trash to Chester in certain Black areas, but by having them contracted, you're kind of responsible for the air pollution that some of these Black and brown communities are going through. So I'm looking forward to supporting that legislation.
Good. What else happened in city council? You know, Chester has been consistently
Yeah. So
underprivileged, underserved, all of it.
yes. Yep. And my mind was like, I agree with this, because at the end of the day, um, I have asthma. And there's so many other African Americans in the city of Philadelphia who
Mm-hmm,
go through, other, health challenges
mm-hmm,
because of, how we treat our air. And
mm-hmm.
so it's time for us to do as much as possible to clean our air. So I'm glad she's leading the charge on that. Uh, Next week, I'll talk more about a new bill that Rue Landau is going to talk about
Okay.
that's going to expand fair contracts, create fairer contracts in the city of Philadelphia.
What is
And
that?
so,
What is that? What is a fair contract?
not fair contracts, excuse me. We want to find a way to help employ, like, people who are incarcerated,
Mm-hmm,
who have convictions,
mm-hmm.
have a fair chance. Excuse me, fair
Ah,
chance to
okay.
get appointment with the city of Philadelphia, and hopefully that will help us with, and decreasing the poverty rate as well as the
Mm-hmm,
crime. If
mm-hmm,
we to give people opportunities that normally don't
mm-hmm,
get opportunities
mm-hmm,
to have work. Right now in
mm-hmm.
the city of Philadelphia, you're not supposed to ask that question,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not you are, where
You've
you
been
convicted,
formally caught, right? You have
yeah,
a
formerly
conviction.
incarcerated.
Okay.
But if they find out, after they do the background check, and the department itself can make a determination to say, you know what, we don't want to hire them because they have a criminal background. Now with this situation, um, it's now forcing us to have an external reviewer that would find a way to. Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
honey.
Yes, my God, son.
Hi,
Yep.
Mhm.
I'll be right back. Okay, give me a second. But
Leave him alone. Leave him
yeah,
alone.
well,
Leave him
all
alone.
right.
Mhm.
But it's gonna have us find a way to ask our young people
Mhm.
to. I mean, why I say young people?
Because he's right behind you.
Because he's right behind. It's gonna basically push our city to have an external reviewer to determine, whether or not you actually gave that person a fair chance
Right.
in employment. You can't just arbitrarily say, oh yeah, just because he used to sell drugs, we don't want him in our department. Will
Right.
his past conviction impact his current work? If his
Right.
past conviction is not going to impact the current job,
Right.
why are we making sure that he doesn't, work for the
Mhm.
city of Philadelphia?
Yeah.
So as opposed to like a department head who's just biased, we're going to
Hmm.
have something that the bill says by Rue Landau,
Hmm.
that we're going to look at the department itself.
This city council seems to be working well together.
Yeah, we're all doing our different angles, right? I'm like
Mhm.
the quality life person. I got a couple,
Mhm.
and then we got other people who want to focus on labor, and then someone's
Mhm.
working on
Good.
environment. So it's like
Mhm.
everyone's doing different things, and we're all trying
Mhm.
to like support each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
else
yeah.
happened? And then they named the street after the young rapper that died.
Yes, LGBT qua. I didn't know. I should have mentioned that, but I didn't know how important that was. But yes, LG.
It's
He was
important
the
to a lot of
man.
young folks. Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! I mean, like LGBTQ was so important in our community. He was a
Mhm.
guy who came from um, a situation where he was, oftentimes in
Mhm.
trouble. And so he was
Mhm.
he was relatable to young people because he told them don't take the pathway
Right. Right.
of not being, not
Mhm.
necessarily
Mhm.
doing well.
Mhm.
And so he became the voice of the youth. And so now City Council is going to Jeffrey Young Jr.
Mhm.
introduce legislation
Mhm.
that would basically allow for Philadelphia City Council
Mhm.
to honor him with a street renaming.
Okay.
So
Good.
we're excited about that. Anton Moore from Unity to Community
Yes.
is going to
Mhm.
get a street renaming as well.
Yes.
Thanks to Council
Mhm.
President Johnson introducing that.
Mhm.
The legendary Ducky Burt's tomorrow has a street renaming that was introduced
Really?
this week, right? It was reintroduced, but tomorrow, like Ducky Burt's, who is one of the founding businesses, one of the founding businesses of with our what was it? Leon
Yeah.
Sullivan Plaza
Mhm. Mhm.
is now going to get
Good.
his name at Broad and Jefferson. So
Yeah.
so
That's
we got that.
awesome. There's
But
so
that's
many
all I
street
have for
names.
y'all.
Listen,
Yeah.
Laverne says my sister was fired from the school district after working a full
Yeah.
year because she has a misdemeanor. Some of the decisions she say are interesting.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Mhm.
Exactly. And so
Mhm.
I'm just like, one of the things I'll say is that wait, she says her sister was fired from the school
Yes,
district.
from the school district after working a full year because she has a misdemeanor. Some of the decisions are
So it
interesting.
seems like the school district is going to need some level of the school district is going to need some sort of level of a hearing as well. So we
Yes.
can't do anything. We don't have any governing powers of the
Jurisdiction over
district,
them,
but we
right?
can have conversations with them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Progress Plaza. Right. I was answering.
Yes.
Yeah, that was it.
I love
Progress
I
Plaza. That's
love
great.
that you can read the messages too as we're talking. This is good. This is
I
really,
finally
really
figured out how
good.
to read it.
Dr.
Oh,
Anthony
but no,
Phillips, thank you.
no
I don't know
problem.
what you're doing today, but get some rest, child, because you
I'm
worked
trying to.
yesterday.
We have several meetings. I gave our team the 10 o'clock to come into the office.
Hmm.
But they're gonna get off. We can get them a day off
Yeah,
sometime later on this month.
that's good.
But
That is good.
I still have a meeting at 8:30 in the morning, all the way up to 3:45. So
I know how you
I know
feel.
well, it's you
It's
celebrate
part of the
one
life.
day. Yeah, you celebrate one
Mhm.
day, and there's
Mhm.
people still gonna be like, what's next? Like,
Yeah.
so I
You gotta keep
understand.
going.
We gotta keep
Yeah.
going. All
Thank
right,
you.
thank y'all.
Bye, cutie. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See
Thank y'all
you
so
later,
much.
Dr.
I
You're
appreciate that.
welcome.
All right, God
Bye-bye.
bless.
You're
Take
so
care.
bye. Bye-bye. Um, my family members were original investors in Reverend Sullivan. Yes, the Bill Brother Bill. Everybody was giving $30 a week or $30 a month. I forget what it was. Something we're doing something like that now with IB Big Investment. So I'm grateful for that. Charmaine says I walked right in. She sure did. She walked right into me and got her love hug. I stayed in the cut, people watching, eating, dancing, and vibing. Just what the good doctor ordered. I got home. Now let me tell you something. Monica says, I know you. And Monica, I brought you your soup yesterday. Viola got hers. And yeah, but I couldn't find you at all. But there was so many people out there. It was, I got home last night. Let me tell you something. Pastor Water got on the stage and said to my husband, if we don't get up and move now, I'm going to keel over in the middle of Ogas Avenue. I was so tired. I got a little bit less than 2 hours of sleep, and I had to wake up and get to because I promised I was going to be there at the night market. And we went up the wrong street. My poor husband. I'm trying. He said, Andrea. I said, yeah, come on. This is right. So we walked up 3 blocks to the wrong way, and then had to come back down and walk another. Oh my God! I got home. My husband said he was talking to his aunt, and all I heard was I was snoring. I was so tired, and I'm still tired because I was up for almost 48 hours. Literally, it was not easy. So I need to get some more sleep. That was the first time. Yes, there was soup, Charmaine. I said I was bringing soup, and so we had ice blocks underneath the soup and on top of the soup. And I brought a little cart so we could pull the soup. Viola got hers though. I'm just telling you. Um, uh it was great. Oh, Laverne said I made it in time for Pastor Waller. I am an hour late getting up this morning. No worries, honey. It was fantastic. She also said about her sister, they needed staff and kept her, then let her go. That was just wrong. That was just wrong. That was just wrong. She went to the first hearing, has another one in October. I know. I love you all so dearly. I'm gonna get Asa Khalif on to have a conversation with us about what happened at Mother Bethel AME last night. I remember Wednesday night, the district attorney Larry Krasner said, I feel good with you moderating because when you sit up there and you tell people what you tell them, people tend to listen. They do. We can't keep playing those games. So moderating conversations is one of my jams because we're just not going to have a whole bunch of disruption. We're going to make sure we do things in decency and in order. And I don't know if it's the inflection of my voice, the nanny of the maroons look on my face. I don't know what it is, but folk are not messing with me. So that was Wednesday. We had a peaceful conversation for over 2 hours, for about 2 hours. And folks had at the end of it, people were able to talk, et cetera, et cetera. So it was great. And I knew there were undercover officers in the room. So that was good, but it was fine. Not an issue. Charmaine says, I love your hugs, but I could have passed on it for the soup. Donette says Pastor Waller had y'all line. Listen, he said Pastor Waller had y'all line dancing. It was great. Yesterday was such a good respite. I don't even know. Monica says it was so many people and I couldn't push through the VIP. I will call. But you know what? I wasn't even sitting in the VIP session. They'll tell you I was out hanging with the people. My husband sat down and enjoyed himself, but I was out. I was like, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. And so I found that I spent most of the evening just hanging out with the people. Viola, you rubbing it in. She said, I ate my soup when I got home at 1:00. Wasn't it delicious? Donette says, the mega churches should be used for community meetings. We are going to have to go back to the basics and not depend so much on social media. I agree, Donette. I agree. The pastor of Grace Baptist Church was so nice. Didn't have his coat on. I walked in. He was standing there greeting people. I didn't even know he was the pastor. That's the kind of leader that I appreciate. The one where you don't even know they're the leader. They just blend in and are talking to the people. And I told him, I said, thank you, sir. Thank you. That's leadership 101. It was beautiful. No special treatment, no anything for anybody. We just all had a good time. Marguerite says, I usually don't do crowds, but felt safe uptown last. And cops were everywhere. The cops were doing what they did. Deputy Commissioner, I'm looking at her beautiful face. She and I laugh because when we would go to church at Enon, we would usually be up at the front. Both of us are now skedaddled up to the up to the rafters and just sit up there, Charmin says, be quiet, Viola. Because some folks were just real interesting and we didn't want to have a conversation about anything. So I come into church and I go all the way up to the top and sit up there and mind my business. So you will not see my behind on camera. But I am there. And when I can't be there, I listen to Pastor Waller online if I'm traveling, doing something like this Sunday. I got to travel. So I'll be listening online. So yeah, it was great. Winetta says Tuesday night was peaceful and productive. I met so many people in the neighborhood. Yes. And that's what we need to do. We need to figure out a way. Laverne said, I was very nervous, but I was okay going back to my car with police everywhere. And in the community, Laverne, folk not bothering. They're not bothering. The only time you will see folk jump up is if somebody start acting stupid and, coming to attack, somebody in the neighborhood. When I say Philadelphia is an interesting place, Philadelphia is an interesting place. Remember, we're the ones who threw empty cans at Santa Claus, right? And for some reason, when folks decide that they want to come in and create a division in this city, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Folks just, you saw what happened at Mother Bethel AME yesterday. Alexandra says, Grace Baptist Church, the Church of Jeremiah Wright Jr., early years here in Philly. I did not know that. Viola says she saw relatives she had not seen in years. And that's why this is important, because when stuff comes towards us, because, we're right here between Washington, D.C. and New York City, and all these other states are being told that they're going to have, the National Guard. Philadelphia is not going to be exempt at all. And so the goal in our city is to make sure that everybody's okay, that, folks have their water if the water system is compromised. If you can't afford the food, that those who have food can help each other with food. We're doing community. Here's the thing that snatched my edges this morning when I woke up. Dr. Chris McGinley, who used to be the superintendent of Cheltenham School District, well-known, well-respected man in this city and beyond, went over to Lower Merion to be the superintendent there, and then went to work at Penn. Wrote either last night or early this morning that he's no longer supporting Penn, that he is no longer he's no longer watching local channel 6 ABC. He's not watching any of the ABC affiliates, and he canceled his Hulu Disney subscription. And I see a lot of people talking about canceling their Hulu, and they are. People are canceling Disney, canceling their subscription. And I think Disney is starting to feel it, because now there's this thing that says that Jimmy Kimmel should apologize to Charlie Kirk's family and give Charlie Kirk family a large donation. And then Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart, they all have come together and gone into a closed room. And this is what we mean when we say, if you pull together, so the comedians are like, yeah, no, so something is coming, right? And I think they're all going to start boycotting each and every one of these stations that have been, according to them, kowtowing to what's been going on, because they're losing their agency. They're losing their voices, and they're like, no. So maybe these comedians will teach, a lesson that others are afraid to, Dr. Chris McGinley said he's so disturbed by Penn being one of the first to capitulate. He said he will never. Now, can you imagine? The University of Pennsylvania, he is just, they're done. They're absolutely done. It's a lot. It's just a lot. Marguerite says, there you go again, traveling after Saturday. I know I gotta, it's Repeat's birthday. So I can't not be there for Repeat. Alexander says, snowball, that's Santa Mom. We throw empty beer cans too. Philadelphia citizens is a really interesting. And Alexander says she canceled Disney last night. A lot of people, Disney and Hulu, they're being canceled left and right. So, it's been a lot. It's been a whole lot. And you're starting to see people go, oh, okay, so this is where we really are. Freedom of speech is being taken away. Our president says that he wants to be able to cancel a lot of these television stations. So to the journalists who are afraid to speak up, pay attention to what's going on here. It's hard. We know it's incredibly hard. There are mornings when I get on here and I'm telling you all to protect yourselves. Make sure you have a go bag. Make sure you have this. Make sure you have your life straw, and I'm like Alexander Jenkins and I are like, well, but I cannot sit here and just talk about a bunch of nothing when we see all of what's going on around us. Monica says, when you affect the dollars, you will effectively make change in the world. Absolutely. They don't want to lose their money. And so I think now Disney is if more people do what has been happening with canceling Disney and canceling and it's going to impact the local 6ABC affiliates because they're here, they're owned by Disney, and people are turning the televisions off. So then you will see a difference in their ratings too. Everybody is being impacted by all of this, and it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that we have been able to have the dialogue. Now, let me cover one little bit of news because I saw this and I want. So there was a magnitude 7.8 earthquake off of Russia. 7.8, and then Russia's been having these earthquakes, and there's a tsunami warning for Alaska for anybody that lives there. Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife, is now the new CEO for Turning Point USA after her husband's death. The Department of Homeland Security enhances enhanced security for the Charlie Kirk funeral. Last night in the Northeast Philadelphia, about 100 people came out for a vigil for Charlie Kirk. So that's happening. And I want you to also pay attention to this. All the airlines are cutting their capacity or canceling their flights. What they're not saying to you is people are not traveling as much as they're just not there. They just aren't. So Spirit Airlines to cut capacity by 25% starting this fall and hints at layoffs. So, folks are like, look, the bankrupt budget carrier plans to cut its capacity by about 25% in November as part of a restructuring plan. The scheduling cuts will likely be accompanied by layoffs as the airline looks to reduce costs. Spirit CEO Dave Davis said in a memo to employees, these evaluations will inevitably affect the size of our teams as we become more efficient airlines. Unfortunately, these are the tough calls we have to make to emerge stronger. Delta has been, I think one of these hubs, Delta said they're no longer flying out of. So I'm going to have to now do a more in-depth research on the airlines because they're saying without saying that something is amiss, right? A woman was chased down in the Philadelphia street, shot at 10 times in brazen attack. Investigators shared disturbing surveillance footage of a woman being chased down a Philadelphia street by a gunman who fired at her at least 10 times. Video shows the unknown shooter being dropped off by a Nissan Juke near the 400 block of Roosevelt Boulevard just before 7 p.m. Monday. A woman walking along the block suddenly begins to run when she notices the armed suspect chasing after her. Crazy. And there are videos that show it, right? President Donald Trump has filed an emergency appeal with the United States Supreme Court seeking to stay a lower court order temporarily blocking the removal of Lisa Cook as governor of the Federal Reserve Board. Whew. Lord have mercy. The government insists that the allegations that Cook engaged in mortgage fraud. See what I'm saying? So I have asked you all, the woman, she's shown that she is not engaged in mortgage fraud, but because it's out there, so people will say and do things to make it look like you have lost your mind, that you've done all these things. Whoo! Delta is no longer flying into Dallas Airport. Thank you, Alexandra. So hold on. Yeah, Alexander says everyone is going to Substack. I'm telling you, I'm watching people follow behind because I was like, we're not, the radio stations are dying. I want you all to hear what I'm saying to you. For what a radio station has to produce to put out for the amount of listenership. No one's really listening to radio. They're barely watching regular television at this point. So many of us are on Substack. I'm on Substack for my podcast and Apple and Spotify, but I'm also on YouTube. So many of us are over on YouTube doing what we need to do. My ultimate goal is to get off of all of them altogether and use my own platform. The one that I'm on right now, I'm about to be able to broadcast live from it, and I won't have to use these other platforms because they're all owned by somebody else, right? Happy Earth Day repeat. Yeah. Thank you. Donette says, I heard the women who host The View were very quiet yesterday. Alexandra says Charlie Kirk's wife is the pawn. The financial backer is Bill Montgomery. Joy Reid Joy Reid is out here. They should have kept Joy Reid on MSNBC. Because her being out here on her own, she is telling all the business. Viola says, I got rid of cable in 2018 when my sister passed away. She saved $160. Phew. Lots happening. Lots. Lots, Black Jesus, lots. Oh, wait. Let me just make sure. Cancel. So there's a lot going on. Yeah, there you are. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Marvel. How may I help you?
Good morning.
Hey, sir, let me tell you something. Why I wake up this morning and see you out here cussing white folk out? What is happening?
Man, let me tell you, it was crazy. Well, town hall meetings, and I heard you did a really great job.
Thank you.
And I knew you were going to crush it. That was so big. I was sad I couldn't get out there. But Tuesday, the first installment, these individuals who are like Charlie Kirk's like pets, they followed him around, believed in his the white nationalists. And so they came in to disrupt in the church, in the first church that they held, and they disrupted and disrespected that space. So they got a little shine from NBC 10, and that's sad for NBC 10 to focus strictly on a 5-minute confrontation as opposed to, or disruption, as opposed to
the meat of the organ, right?
All meeting was about, and all the questions and the answers that back and forth that Larry and the community did. Fast forward to yesterday, they decided that they were going to have a rally and then march up and come inside Mother Bethel, and that's when I drew the line. As an activist, that's where I drew the line. That's where the other grassroots activists who were out there drew the line. It wasn't even about, it was bigger than Larry Kratz. It wasn't even about Larry Kratz because Larry can handle himself. We were out there to make sure that you were not going to come into another sacred space that Black people hold.
Did you guys were you able to keep them out? Were you able to keep them out?
Oh, absolutely. We were ready to get arrested.
Clearly, I saw you.
They have a right to come in. Even some of the cops were saying, well, so they got a right to come in, and then if they disrupt, they can be thrown out. We said, hell, that it's not happening. It's not going down that way. They're not setting foot on holy ground in Mother Bethel. That place has always been a safe space for activists like me. They've never turned us away. It's been a place that I went after my mother died to go and get some peace in that space. It's a sacred space. It wasn't about the Larry Kratz and the town hall meeting. It was bigger than that. You got away with disrespecting that first time, and had we been there, you would never even have entered. So you want to come with your white nationalist, racist views and spill that hate. And the last white border that came into AME, they shot and killed half of the people that were there that night.
Wow.
That was Dylan Ruth.
Yes.
So we're not going to have that spirit come up in there. You're not coming in, and I don't care what they say, what the cops say, what anybody say. We're not letting you in, and we blocked those doors, and they didn't get in because we stood on business yesterday, and we meant.
You know what's so interesting? I said this morning when I first got on the air. Philadelphia is an interesting place. You can't, where other people will come in and say, blah, 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 blah. Philly what is it about this place that you all are just so ready to defend this place? What is it about Philly, that Philly people? Why are you so different?
I think Philly, we cut from a different cloth. You can go out of town and always tell a Philly person. Philly is just a whole nother breed of people. We tell you we're very direct people.
Yes.
And we hold our space, especially in the Black community. We hold our sacred spaces very dear to our hearts. Even if you're not a regular member or an attendant, church has always been a meeting place. Yes. Even for the thuggers of the thugs. When mama say, big mama, grandmama say, meet me at the church house, they there. It's something about going into that space where you can fully be, protected and loved. And that's what we needed. We deal with, as Black people, all the hardship outside of that space. Give us that space. And white folks felt, the point is that you feel entitled that you can come into our space simply because you're white and you can. You wouldn't, like I said, we, even as protesters, Andrea, we've never violated anyone's sacred space. We never went to a synagogue and protest. We never went to a mosque. We never went to a Jehovah's Witness Center. We never done any of that. If we want to get you in a protest, we get you outside that space. But you felt entitled to come in, and the reason why they should have shut that down Tuesday, and that gave them, the entitlement and the courage, but they was not ready to meet me and people like Sappho and other OG, activists who really stand on business, not no cotton candy activists. We'll knock you out. Physically knock you out.
Yeah. Yo, Marguerite says,
you don't believe in God, you better believe in God.
Listen,
everything I had not to slap the hell out of you.
Let me tell you something. Marguerite says Philly is always on ready, set, go. Been here for 32 years, and it's like it really is like no other place. You come into Philly, you better be ready, because the folk, and it's so weird because y'all are really ready to die for this thing. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And I've been here for a little while now, 10 years, and just listening, watching. People would complain about Philadelphia when there's a game and you showed up in different states. They were like, why y'all so rough?
I mean, we had to be. And we hold things that are dear to us. We hold close to our heart.
Yes.
And like I said, they want to spin the narrative. This is us protecting Larry. We don't need, Larry doesn't need us
protection,
to protect
right?
him. This was about you feeling entitled to walk into a sacred space and take over and disrespect it. And we wasn't going to let that happen yesterday.
Yeah. Winetta says, in Philly, we have our problems like any other city, but you will not disrespect our hometown. I think that's the thing about Philly. Like, we will fight each other, but you can't come in here and fight. It's the strange.
It's a family thing. You ever have siblings
argue
and even fight? But when you go outside, if someone else messes with that sibling, you see how fast they come together. That's how our family went. You got to fight all of us now because it's a united front. It's just it's something about Philly that we're kinfolk. That's who we brothers from different mothers, sisters from different moms. It's a Philly thing. If you wasn't born and raised here, or have lived here a long period of time, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah. So what's next? Asa? Because you are aware of what's going on around the country. You see the violence. There will be a Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day on October 14th, which also happens to be George Floyd's birthday. So you see the play, right? You see what's happening.
Yes.
What are you all prepared? Because the city council yesterday have begun talking about the things that are impacting the citizens here, which is something I've been waiting for. What do we do to help the citizens here that are going to lose their SNAP benefits when housing becomes an issue, when more federal laws are passed where you just can't get what you need? How do we pull together as a community to help one another? Right? Everybody has their place, but how do we pull together as a community?
Well, we pull together by uniting with activists, with social workers, with ministers, with community block leaders. This is the time now where we really, and I say this all the time, but this is really, it's crucial time, it's crunch time. We have to come together and pull our resources together. Just like they did back in the civil rights movement. We came together. We threw rent parties back then.
Yeah.
Someone couldn't pay their rent. People cared about each other. And even if you don't care about each other, you're going to be forced to care about each other now, because what they got down the pipe for Black people is going to affect all of us.
Yes.
So this is where it comes down to the enemy of my enemy
is my friend.
Becomes my friend, and that's how it's going to be. Sometimes struggle can bring people together.
Yes. District Attorney Larry Krasner said on Wednesday that Pennsylvania, if you live in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, there are actually extra protections under our local state laws for people who may be targeted by ICE or and I had no idea. And folks are really pulling together. There was a Rabbi Mordecai in the room who spoke about the churches and the mosques and the synagogues coming together. You see the movement happening. Right? People are pulling together tightly about what needs to happen. There were retired lawyers in the room who said, we came out of retirement to do this work for immigration pro bono. Philadelphia is a really, really, really interesting place. And then there's the community. I was like, look, Philadelphia is made up of a bunch of communities and neighborhoods. Know the people that live in your community. Know the people that don't belong in your community. Larry Krasner talked about taking out your phones and recording, taking pictures. He said, because all of those things will help with prosecution. They don't need to know that you're doing it. And then he said, make sure your phones, your cameras all around your properties, that that they're capturing everything so that we can use these things. He said, but we have extra protections, and I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And that's why the town hall meetings were so important.
Yeah.
Because it connected, and it's going to be a second wave of that. I'll let Larry kind of come back and explain it, but it's going to be a second wave because it was so successful.
Yeah,
it's needed,
Yeah.
and we need your voice. And I'm glad, I prop you up all the time. You're my big sis, but we need voices. We're going to need an Andre Lawful Sanders. We're going to need your platform.
It takes bravery. It really takes a lot of courage. Yeah. It takes a lot of courage because my voice has been one of preparing yourself. I'm not talking about the government. I'm not talking about I report the news as it is given, but my voice is protecting the people, right? So what do you need to be prepared for? How do you fortify your home? What does that look like? Do you have a couple of extra dollars? Because, we saw this happen in Europe very recently where the trains locked down, the ATMs didn't work, the gas stations didn't work. We don't realize how it's all interconnected, right? Keep your gas tanks almost filled at all times. Keep your head on a swivel. If you know somebody doesn't belong in your community and you see them casing your neighborhood, start to report. Have a relationship with your local district police department. Know who you can trust. You understand what I'm saying, Asa?
You have exactly, because we are now in it. You understand? And
there's no way, there's no dancing around it, Asa. Right.
Everything that we were taught, everything we did, the different conspiracy theories. Yeah. It's time to buck up on food. It's time to buck up on war. It's time to really we're in it now. This is a fascist country at this point. And freedom of speech is really challenged at this point. They're trying to take it away to have it one voice, even in the communication of what we watch. They're buying that up. So we're going to need independent type of communication. And the best communication is when we talk to each other.
Yes.
We're going to have to start talking to each other, whether we like it or not.
Yes.
That's
agreed.
That's the key to our information. When the internet go down, we got to have that talk.
Right. And so that's right. So when you don't have access to your phones, or I said this, make sure you know the addresses of somebody where you do not have to use GPS to get to it, right? Make sure you write down all the phone numbers of all the important people in your family somewhere, because these are the devices that we use. They go down, right? Be careful about what you say and wherever you say it, because you understand what's happening around you. So if you're going to make a plan, don't do it in front of your phones. Don't do it in front of your computers. Don't do it in front of your television. Go take a damn walk. We have the second largest park system in the country. The second largest, right? Go take a walk. The fresh air will help you. It'll help you to release the cortisol, help you to release the feelings that you're having, and then talk about what do we do? If so and so, whose house are we going to, right? What are we? How do we navigate? That we need that conversation. There's no way in America can we possibly think, living in this city, that everybody else is going to be a part of this, and we're just going to be sitting here. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way, and I think we're realizing now. We've been asleep for a minute now. Now we're truly up now, because it's affecting our health care. It's going to affect
our food,
how people eat.
Yes,
how people eat.
People can't afford to pay their rent and their mortgages.
Personally, your family members and your friends may be affected.
Yeah.
It's forcing us to get into this fight. Well, I'm not political. Well, I'm not really radical. Well, it's going to force you to be political and radical, because it's affecting your house. It's at your door now.
Yes.
It's now at your door. So now what you going to do? You have no other choice but to join a community activist or a group or an organization, or be an activist yourself. You're going to find out how many individuals who were never thought of as activists
Right.
become advocates to fight for themselves and their people.
And activism,
So, yeah.
Asa, and activism doesn't mean always being out on the street. That's your role. You've been out there forever.
Absolutely.
But somebody like Chris McGinley, who was like, I'm no longer watching the local television station. I'm canceling Penn. He's been a Penn professor for I can't tell you how long. And at Temple, he's like, I am using my voice to cancel Disney. I'm using that. He said all these things, and I was like, that's advocacy. That's activism, because he's a well-respected voice, and a lot of people listen to him.
There's many forms where activism and advocacy comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pick your lane and get out there.
Yep. Yep.
Out there.
Yeah, Marguerite says Philly is a nucleus in the Northeast. Nothing gets past us, like Mr. Krasner said, F around and find out. Winetta says communication is key. And Alexander says, if that father and son obtains Warner Brothers Paramount, it's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen, on media. They're strong supporters of this administration. So you already know, and we've been saying this for a long time, take your money. Your money is important. Well, they don't want to tell you. They make you feel like you don't have a choice and you have to watch this and you have to watch that. People are canceling these services. They don't. People are canceling these services. They're taking a stand. They may not be out on the street, but their activism is canceling a lot of these services too. Charmaine says, yep, my folks have trackers on me and vice versa. We check in physically every several hours. She wrote down all her son's numbers. Yeah, my sons have been tracking me for years. Right? For years. And I have men out in the street, men in the Nation of Islam, the Jamaicans. There are certain groups of people that track me at all times. So, you know, just to make sure that I'm okay, because I'm walking around out here like everything is everything is everything. Right?
We had people in that meeting. You wasn't alone, trust me.
Oh, I know.
we had people in that meeting. You was good.
Yeah.
You was good.
Yeah.
Andrea is probably the safest black woman right now in the city.
Because my husband was like, yo, make sure my wife comes back home.
That's
and
right. I mean,
when I stepped out,
really
when I stepped out my car, when I stepped out my car, and I knew they were part of the government, what am I saying? Cop, like undercover. I don't know if they were FBI agents, but as soon as I stepped out my car, four of them walked up and was like, "Man, we're going this way." I was like, "Oh, I didn't even say anything. I just got okay." Moving and they showed me where to go, make sure I was safely inside the church and make sure I was safely back in my car. So yeah, because then nobody want to talk to Mr. Sanders. I promise you, nobody.
No, you really don't. You don't want him to get on. You don't want him to get on your behind, because trust me.
Whoa, Lord. But yeah, to the people to the journalists who are afraid, and for good reason, who will not speak up, to the people who are, you know, I don't know, I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job. Everybody's dancing and tiptoeing around. What do you say to folks like that? How can they be activists quietly, Asa, in your estimation?
I don't know in that position that you can be quiet. It's not a middle ground. Either you're going to take a stand or you're not. They are creative, some of them, in their writing, so maybe they can be creative in terms of getting certain messages and stuff out.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, it's going to force you to make a choice. You know, you have a platform. How you choose to use that platform will be on your conscience.
Yeah.
Are you going to use it, even if it means getting fired? Doesn't mean that you can stop. You can get fired today. You can still have an independent, reporting type of system set up for yourself. You know, the point is, what are you going to do? Because this fascism that's in the United States now is going to force you. You can't be middle ground or in the shadows. It's forcing you now to take a choice. Either you're going to rock with the conservatives, or you're going to tell your people the truth. Yeah,
history is going to write history. Now, there's some of it that will be erased because of artificial intelligence and what's happening, but history is going to tell on all of us. Truly, it really is.
Absolutely.
It really is.
It is.
Yeah. All right, Asa. Thank you.
Right
yeah. Thank you.
Always on the right side of this.
I hear you, my brother. Thank you, and be safe, please.
Thank you, Satandre.
All right.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye. Having this platform and using the microphone responsibly is really important. I worry about folks like Jasmine Crockett and I'm looking at her face. Joanne Reed, who are just speaking truth to power, in their terms, in their voices, what's happening out here. But to Joanne Reed's point, she was like, they've gotten everything, not they, the government and the people that are working within the government and the conservatives have gotten everything that they wanted. They took over this, they took over that. She says, why are they angry? Why are they still angry? She says, it's because we're not embracing them. That as a collective people, we're not embracing them and making them feel and bringing them in and making them feel like they're a part of that. This is wonderful and it's working. And so we're watching now people rising up in France. We're watching Poland being targeted by Russian targets. They've had to shoot down a couple of Russian spy planes in the air. Like, it's all around the world. We're feeling this energy that is not great. And so I'm telling you, I don't know what war we're on the precipice of. And it's not going to look as what you would normally call a war, because we have all this technology and intel right now, but be very, very careful. We're seeing diseases pop up all over the place. Tuberculosis, which is supposedly gone, and remember that part of what can happen too is that these diseases can be put right back out into the atmosphere, so people can get sick. Right? Things are happening. Folks are dropping dead of heart attacks suddenly. Years ago, and not even too long ago, Kamala Harris was supposed to travel, but agents from the CIA and the FBI, they were falling ill. It's something about a microwave. The way war is fought now is very different from what you're accustomed to, is what I am saying to you. So when I get on here and I say, stock up your food, make sure you have a can opener that can open your stuff, all this fancy stuff. If you have no electricity, the generators will only work but so long. Make sure you have canned goods. Make sure you adapt. You can live without food for a week. You cannot live without water. So you want to make sure you have enough water. Lots of y'all gonna lose a ton of weight, right? All this stuff. If you're accustomed now to running back and forth, I stopped getting my nails done purposefully. We talked to Cherie Syfax yesterday about the restaurant business and how folks are not coming to the restaurants anymore. Yo, Dennis, I'm trying to tell you. He said, what is going on out here in these Wakanda streets? Stay awake, right? And so the idea is not everybody is going to be an Asa Khalif. Asa Khalif has put his whole body on the line for years, but there are others who can use their intellect to do something else. My voice is to help you to stay safe, to stay hydrated, to make sure that you know where your passports are, that you know where your driver's licenses are, that you're able, if you have to, God forbid, leave where you are, because y'all are sitting here thinking that we're still in the twilight zone and everything is going to be all right. If, God forbid, you have to leave where you are suddenly because of something going on where you are, that you have a bag packed and ready to go with all your essential documents in it, right? Viola and I talked about, Viola gave me a thing yesterday. It was this big. Like, see right here, it was this big. It was actually a washcloth. So there are ways you can travel that won't take up a whole lot of bulk. Don't worry about carrying the design. The designer labor-ish is not going to help you in this day and time. Figure out how to downsize your lives right now so that when you have to bust a move, you can bust a move safely. That's what I'm bringing to you, right? How to be safe. Who is in your neighborhood that you can talk to? My neighbor next door, my neighbor to the left and the right of me, across the street. We know everybody. We know who belongs on the road. We know who doesn't belong. Like, you need to pull together. Your block captains are going to be really important right now. Right? And if you're living next to somebody who you know you cannot trust because you've seen them do damage to other people, then you know what to do about that too. But the time has far been gone when we sit down and say, this is much ado about nothing. That time passed actually years ago, but it was happening so quietly that we just didn't pay any attention. And so now we're here and going, oh. And so something like the nightlife last night, where you all could come together and you are being reminded, because we've been locked up in our houses going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And the anxiety and all the other things. Oh, no. Let's figure out how we can help each other. This is the time we're in right now. And while we want our leaders to step up and say and do certain things, the truth of the matter is, like Larry Krasner said on Wednesday night, it's us, the neighborhood. We're all, in order for us to make it through and out of this, whatever this is that we're facing, we're going to have to need each other. We need each other and we're going to have to work together with one another. So that's my contribution. That's our contribution on Mornings with Mother to help you get to where you need to. You need your life straws. We've said it. You need to have, money in small bills, so that if you need to, your gas is something you can't store. It will turn into gel after a few weeks, but make sure how you stop yourselves from being caught at a long line in a gas station where you can't get gas and everybody's fighting one another, is that you always keep your gas tank at least 3/4 full. So you don't have to go sit at a gas station line, and you take your time and you sip your gas if all hell breaks loose. Don't sit around and wait for it to happen and then say, oh my God, what can I do? How can I do? It's important, okay? This episode, and listen, it's going to be a long weekend. And yes, I do need some more sleep because I am exhausted. This episode of Mornings with Mother is officially over. We should have Kelvin Jeremiah next week on from the Philadelphia Housing Authority, because, again, we need to have that discussion. Philadelphia is now in the top 4 markets of housing cost. Housing values go up, but there's still discrimination within our communities, right? We're no longer the poorest big city, which is nice, but we still have a ton of work to do. So we can go from good to better to great if we work together. And this city, I've seen it, I have watched it, I have covered when George Floyd was murdered, and I was covering that thing, in the streets with COVID hanging around us, wearing double masks and having a thing around my face. And I was watching the stuff unfolding in real time. This city is a really interesting place. It really is. So take care of each other. Make your plans about how you're going to support your families. Make your plan about knowing who your tribe is. I've been saying this since November. Know who the people are in your tribe that you can trust, because it will come down to life and death. Write down the phone numbers. Don't try to record it to memory. Make sure you have a copy of your birth certificates, a copy of your licenses, a copy of your passports. If you have to move, that you're ready to just grab that bag and move, right? So I'm leaving it right there. This episode of Mornings with Mother is officially over. I'll see you when I see you. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Happy Friday. Bye-bye.